We'll give folks a minute to join the room here, but my name is Heather Richer. I'm the president of the board here at the Association for Short-Term Rental Homeowners, Astrho, astro.org, and I am so excited to be here today. We do these, if you're new to Astrho, we do these roadshow stops once a month. Today, we've got a group of experts to talk about Destin 30A in Florida. We have Maria from Becasa, who's our real estate guru in the area. She's there right now. She assures us she's okay. The hurricane is not hitting you right now. Thank you for being here. And then we have Quinn from Key Data Dashboard, one of our sponsors for these events. She's going to go through customer traveler demand data, talk about what's happened, talk a little bit about what projections for the future. And then there's a lot of regulatory conversations. So the superhero on the line is Theron from STR Hero, founder of, and I'll actually quickly let you guys intro yourself before we dive in. So I'll start with you, Maria.
Hi, I'm Maria Dudley. I am the principal broker for Florida. So been selling real estate for 24 years, grew up in the Destin, 38 area. So I've seen all the changes. So exciting to share our market with you.
Thanks. And Quinn, go ahead and say a little more about yourself.
Sure. So my name's Quinn. I've been at Key Data for about 3.5 years. And I'm all things data, super data nerd. So any questions or anything, feel free to contact me at the end because I love to talk about it.
Awesome. Thanks. And Theron.
All right. So my name is Theron Lewis. I'm the founder of STR Hero, and we're a group of advocates where our goal is, one, to protect the livelihood of communities and people by promoting and protecting the short-term rental industry. But really right now it's to save the short-term rental industry because it's definitely needed with all of the unfair regulatory things that are happening. And that's our mission right now.
Awesome. And we love that you go all in. I was worried that you wouldn't go all in with the full attire on the virtual call, but
my zipper got stuck, so that's why I jumped in right on time. But I made it,
You did. That's great. All right, we're going to jump into our presentation. I'll share my screen here. And here we go. And can you see that okay? Full screen? Okay, great. So again, we're here with these folks to talk about Destin across a bunch of different areas: advocacy, real estate, and traveler demand. Who is Astrho? For those of you that don't know, the Association for Short-Term Rental Homeowners was founded by a group of us that realized that people were looking for answers, but there was no non-biased place to go to get education if you were starting out as a smaller entrepreneur. And our goal is to provide education and resources. We partner with folks involved in regulatory. That is not our expertise, so we're always looking for partners to help us make sure folks are educated around that. And, this is an important audience. Half or more of all short-term rentals are managed by small entrepreneurs. Customer demand continues to increase. We're shifting share from hotels, and then the technology and the ability to distribute across so many different channels continues to grow and evolve. So our mission is to educate and make sure there's a place folks have unbiased resources. And this is just a quick snapshot of the community. We have 2 membership tiers. One is free to join, and then another premier membership tier where you get access to, many of these things for free. But for our paid tier, which I'll talk a little bit about at the end, for $160 a year, you get access to power courses that are really deep dive from experts on topics like revenue management or technology. And then the other thing that you get with the annual Premier membership is a membership to Host GPO, which unlocks all these discounts across different things you need to furnish and maintain your short-term rental. So with that, that's who we are. Thanks for being here. I will hand it over to Quinn at Key Data to talk about the stats, customer stats for Destin and 38.
Thanks so much. So I'm going to talk just a little bit today about some of the KPIs or key performance indicators that cover 30A and Destin. And just a little bit about key data before we start. Our focus is to be the #1 trusted data and analytics provider of real-time vacation rental market data for the short-term rental industry. And we accomplish that both through direct integrations with property management companies, and we also scrape OTAs or online travel agencies in real time. So all the data you're looking at, is super current. And I'm going to start off looking at occupancy or adjusted paid occupancy. So a little bit on how to read this chart before we get going. That dark blue line is 2022 to 2023 adjusted paid occupancy as of September 26th of this year. That teal line is 2021 through 2022 as of the 26th of last year. And then that peach line is 2020 through 2021 as of September 26th in 2020. And I also want to point out that I'm using a KPI that's called adjusted paid occupancy instead of paid occupancy. And the difference is adjusted paid occupancy takes into account owner stays and hold nights. So we're getting that true paid occupancy figure. And March 2022 saw 60% paid occupancy, although it performed behind 2021 for a majority of the last 6 months and is pacing behind 2020 even from August until December. Destin follows mostly that same pattern, although June and July, the adjusted paid occupancy was higher than it was in 2021, which was not typical across this region. This was about 8%. This trend carries across the Southeast US, and mostly because that region was one of the quickest to recover from the pandemic, and they saw large growth from last year. So it suggests that traditional demand patterns are returning. So you're going to see closer to that 2019 figure that you would have. And next, we're going to look at average daily rates. So rates have increased an average of $83 a night over 2021, $198 over 2020, and $221 over 2019 in 30A. August nightly rates were about $606 compared to $547 the previous year and $434 in 2020. It's also pacing ahead of 2021 and 2020 for much of the fall and winter. And December's nightly rates are projected to increase by almost $65 over December of last year. Year to date, Destin rates have increased about $27 over 2021, $110 over 2020. So those are slightly smaller increases, but definitely still significant. So we'll move right along to RevPAR, or revenue per available rental. And 2022 was right on track with 2021 until a $48 increase in June and a $51 increase in July. And again, that's per unit. In August, RevPAR fell to about $250 compared to $296 the prior year and $236 in 2020. We're pacing slightly behind in the early fall months, but we're expected to catch 2021 in December. And then the largest year-over-year increases in Destin occurred during June and July, which were $59 and $54 respectively over last year. But RevPAR took a hit in August and September with an average decrease of about $5 a unit. And October, as of a couple days ago, was pacing about $23 behind in October. So moving booking windows. In the 30A area, these have varied significantly over the past few years. For July stays, travelers book their vacations on average about 20 days or almost 3 weeks closer to arrival than they did last year. Then for August stays, the booking window is only 1 day shorter than it was in 2021, but almost 3 weeks longer than it was in 2020. And again, the further out we look, the longer that booking window becomes, but those will likely end up being close to this year's average, which so far has been about 85 days. And Destin's average booking windows are about 10 days shorter across the board than they are in 30A, but they follow the same trends. Average length of stay. So people come to visit Florida all year round, but there are a couple unique aspects to note. So unlike other beach markets like the Outer Banks and Myrtle Beach, where lengths of stay drop off dramatically between November and March, 30A sees their longest stays during this period, most likely with snowbirds coming in for the winter. The average length of stay in January 2023 is projected to be about 27 days. This is the same as it was in 2022, but roughly a week shorter than that previous year. So stay lengths have been fairly consistent March through October in 30A, mostly staying between 5 and 6 days. And so far this year, the average length of stay is about 5.7 days, so almost 6 days. This is slightly shorter than it was in 2021 at 5.9 days, and about a half a day shorter than it was in 2020 at 6.3 days. The average length of stay in Destin is roughly 5 days between March and October, and like 30A, it increases drastically in January and February, where it's around 30 days. So lastly, we'll look at arrivals for reservations made in the last 7 days. 64% of the reservations made last week will check in within 30 days of arrival. 20% will check in between 30 to 60 days of arrival, and then the remaining 16% will check in more than 60 days from the date of booking. You can see spikes during holidays that are labeled here. Indigenous Peoples Day weekend or Columbus Day weekend accounts for about 29% of the arrivals in the next 30 days. Thanksgiving accounts for almost half, so 48% between 30 to 60 days. And then the week of Christmas accounts for 37% of those reservations made last week that are greater than 60 days from booking. So thank you so much. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, Quinn@keydata-dashboard.com, or visit us on the web at keydata-dashboard.com.
Thanks, Quinn. Yeah, I mean, it's great to see the rates have gone up so much, and there's still, really steady demand and reliable seasonal patterns. So yeah, interesting point too about the snowbird opportunities that exist in this market that are different. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, let's shift to kind of a real estate perspective. So yeah, Maria, tell us just about kind of overall market and investment approach these days.
Yeah, definitely. So we are, a drive-to destination. So we have here in the Destin area 4.5 million visitors a year, in 30A, 5.3 million. 80% of our buyers, renters are driving in from Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Indiana. Those are some of our top, states that are coming here. So 62% of them, stay in the condo rental house. What they're coming here for is our beautiful, white sugar sands and emerald green waters, right? That's what they're coming here for. So we live in a beautiful area. So we've been selling real estate here for 40 plus years, been in the short-term vacation, rental business myself personally since 91. So we have been, in this market for a long time. And here that's different is we have a lot of condos in the Destin market that's available for purchase compared to 30A. So our 30A area is going to be more single family homes more so than condos. There's still building going on in 30A, which is Fulton County. It's, one of the fastest growing counties in the state. So there's a lot of opportunities still. Of course, we just went through the crazy market, right? With the price increases and multiple offers and, things like that. So that has definitely leveled off. It's interesting. I actually just pulled stats this morning that, right now, this morning in Destin, we have 389 condos available, actively listed in the MLS, where the same day a year ago, we had 58. And then in 30A, we have 94 condos currently on the market. And a year ago, it was 1.
So are folks that want to sell motivated, and are prices being reduced?
Well, what's happening is some sellers are coming on the market and thinking we're still in that market. So they are trying to still price a little high. And we're advising them that, you've missed the market. So we really need to price it where, the current sales have been. So the price reductions you're seeing are that correction, right? From where it's listed a little high. So it needs to, kind of meet the market where it is right now. So those are the price reductions you're seeing. So that's the leveling off, is getting the sellers to be realistic.
And there's
On
more
price.
supply, so it's like competitive too, right? Like
Exactly.
that's
So
great
now we
for the
have more
buyer.
inventory. So great for buyers to get into the market now, because we have inventory available for them, and sellers are more negotiable, right? So we're starting to see these longer days on the market. So sellers are being more negotiable on price, on terms, willing to pay some closing costs, make some repairs. All of these have been as is, take it as is,
Right.
as is, right? So that's it's good to see for buyers. It's a great time for buyers to get in for sure.
Well,
And
and
our
that
rental
there's,
income has been great,
yeah,
I mean,
and
really
that
great.
there's, I think if I heard you right, you said like 50 versus 300, so 6 times more available units to like shop or, compare.
Exactly. Yeah, like
Wow.
homes. I mean, we have 215 homes available now, where a year ago it was 3, and that's in
Wow.
the Destin market. And 38 was, yeah, it's amazing to see the difference. So it is. If buyers are sitting on the fence, now's the time to come to our area, take a look. We can pull the stats, the rental income. It's a great time to buy and invest.
And I guess obviously Vacasa is a specialty agency for short-term rental, vacation rental, but anyone looking to find like the right fit agent, can you offer a few suggestions as to what they should ask the
Oh,
agent?
yeah, definitely. I mean, we have just in our company alone 50 plus agents along the panhandle here, from Perdido Key all the way to Port St. Joe area, Panama City and further. So we have been, like I said, selling short-term vacation rentals for 40 plus years. So our agents have been with us, many for 10, 20, 25 years. So they're very well versed in what a buyer is looking for, which is, how much is the rental income? What are my expenses? What is the best, property to buy? Is it going to be something that is direct Gulf front or something across the street? How many sleep, how many is going to sleep, like what's going to be the best fit for price point, based on that. And we're knowledgeable about our area, the market. Do you want a 1-bedroom condo, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom? Do you need a home? So yeah, we definitely have all of that data and information to help a buyer make a informed decision on their short-term vacation rental investment.
And then one of the other things that I found, and I think this is a good segue to Theron, is the regulatory, right? Like I know in some buildings there might be HOA restrictions, but then even neighborhood by neighborhood. So obviously your team stays up to date on those things too, I would imagine.
Absolutely. We are very involved with our local government, with our Chamber of Commerce's, we're out and about. We're on boards of local associations as well. So we stay very abreast of what's going on. We are, I have to say, very blessed in this area because we don't have as much regulations as the rest of the state, that we operate in. So we are very fortunate in that most of the areas here along the panhandle are open to short-term vacation rentals.
Well, thank you for that. That was really helpful. And maybe we'll stay on that topic here and move to STR Hero. So yeah, tell us about the area and what people can do to get involved.
For sure. So I want to just piggyback off of the point that was just made, and just to give a little background, we cover regulations and look to save short-term rentals worldwide, and Florida specifically, and the Panhandle is a very special place where the regulations are. There's either no regulation or the regulation there is amicable right now, which is great. And so, that should be something that everybody that's looking to invest should be really proud of and feel good about investing. I have some information that I think will probably go into the last question that we have on the slide, but I'm going to give you guys some info on some things to look out for in the future, and say possibly the near future. So with regards to, learning about regulation in your market, it's still something that everybody should be able to and have a skill set in finding out. And we know that it's not easy. So just on a brass tacks level, the best thing to do is to first do the easiest thing. Start by Google searching the area that you're in and then STR regulations. That's definitely a good way to start to get an idea. And you can find a lot of good information in the Panhandle from that. If there's ever a situation where you're not finding everything you need, you can also contact the city clerk in the city hall in whatever city that you're in. And that can either be via phone or emailing them. And that's something that's available on their website. Think of it as think of them as the secretary that is supposed to help you find what you need on government related matters. So that's where you have to kind of go deep, but that's something that is pretty easy to find for the Panhandle. But what I want to do is really just give people the information right here so they don't even have to search. So we actually have a database of almost 1,500 city regulations in mid to large size markets. This is something we've been working on for years, and this stuff changes all of the time. So we have to update it monthly. But basically, I went ahead and searched some things up in our database, and we use a color code system, which is really simple. Green means it's just super, there's no reason why you shouldn't invest there. It's very easy to do so. Yellow means you should probably still invest, but there's some regulations that you have to focus on, and just make sure you're buying or starting your business in the right areas and following the right rules. Red means that it's a no-go. It's probably primary residence only, which means only you can rent the place that you live in, which if you're trying to start a thriving investment business, it's probably not going to work out for you. And gray means there's no regulation. And we made that separate because a place with literally zero regulation, where they aren't even considering short-term rentals in their laws, that's a little iffy in terms of investing, because then you might run into a situation where later on they decide, oh, we want to put in regulation and it's not so good for you. So you really want to see where the city or the area stands.
So it sounds like Destin and 38 would be green. Just kind of come back to this area, right? Is that?
So I was actually, exactly.
Okay, that's where you're headed. Awesome.
That's where I'm at. And actually, I would say, so we actually have them labeled as yellow, but that's not a bad thing. That's good.
Okay.
Destin and Panama City Beach are yellow only because you can only operate short-term rentals in certain zones there. So Destin, it's about half of the zones you can have short-term rentals. And Panama City Beach, it's a certain percentage as well. But again, in the areas that you can, all you have to do is just make sure you're buying in the right area. You're completely good to go. So again, yellow is not bad. Yellow just means, hey, don't just not look for regulations before investing. Take a look at the regulations, which you should be doing anyways, right? And just make the right choice from there.
And have the right real estate agent. Maybe it would help too, right?
Exactly. So Nicole, you know who you guys already know who to contact, she's right here. So Walton County, I would say that's green. That's definitely a green area. Now, the thing is, they're proposing some new regulations right now. And that's the point where we would mark this yellow. And we did a review prior to this call, and it's not something to be extremely afraid of, but this is why people should get involved. Because what they're doing right now is they're proposing things and trying to understand from the community what they want. So if you stay involved, and you can be a part of that and tell the community what is good on the short-term rental industry side, and not just what people might think are good that are outside of the industry. So that's the one thing that I would mention there. It's definitely looking good still, but this is why involvement is still important. And that probably is a good segue into how do I get more involved if I own a home in the area. So the way to get involved is either search for a short-term rental association or alliance. These are basically, all it means is this is a group that advocates on your behalf. They're there to represent you and speak to the government and let them know, hey, you know, this is what we want in the industry, and we think this is good, so that you have amicable regulations. And so if you don't find that, and you can easily do this by searching your city or searching the area, you could search 30A Short-Term Rental Association, 30A STR Alliance. And if nothing comes up, then we recommend that you start one. And it's actually way easier than it seems. It's super simple. You start as simply by making a Facebook page. Facebook page takes 5 minutes to make, and you could literally start this. You could call it the 30A STR Association. You could say, okay, I made this, but I don't want to run this, and you could hand this off to somebody else. But it's so important, because that is what kicks things off. And you know what next can happen is you can go into your Facebook group, you can talk to your host community and say, hey, you know, let's meet up because they're proposing this ordinance and we want to talk about it. And that's literally how associations start. It's not as daunting to start these things as it may seem. And so we did a search and we didn't see an association. Now, again, we could be wrong. So if anybody wants to chime in, feel free to leave a comment or say it in the questions, I guess. But that is what we recommend. And then with regards to interesting stats to share or trends that we see continuing, I mean, I'd say the biggest one is that there's going to be more contention about existing regulation that protects short-term rentals in Florida, meaning the state has really good rules in place that keep cities from doing too much in terms of removing short-term rentals and putting bad regulations in place. But there's a lot of conversations being had with regards to neighborhoods and specifically neighborhoods dealing with bad actors and kind of the relationship between neighbors and short-term rentals. And this is all the reason why everybody who can get involved should get involved, because even though you have something that protects you statewide pretty well right now, this can definitely be changed. And you really want to be a part of the conversation so that things stay the way they are.
Well, thanks so much, Theron. Yeah, we're just doing a time check here. I'll kind of let you say some final thoughts, and maybe we can give 1 minute for questions, if that's all right.
Sure. So, I mean, I'd say my final thoughts are, you know, this is a great area to invest in. You guys should feel really good about investing in just the Florida area in general. It's such a great state for short-term rentals compared to many others. And the best thing to do on top of that is to get involved where you can, so it stays that way.
Awesome. And then I'll just encourage anyone in the audience to post in the Q&A. If you do have a quick question, we'll let Quinn and Maria also kind of say some final thoughts, and I'll keep an eye on the questions. So Quinn, let's go to you. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, as far as the data, I would say don't be alarmed this year. It's been a crazy couple of years. People kind of started to be concerned when they weren't seeing the same occupancy, they weren't seeing the same growth that they had seen last year, but we're starting to return to traditional demand. We're still pacing ahead of 2019. So although your occupancy may have dropped down a little bit, we're still slowly growing from that 2019 that we consider traditional figures. So don't be alarmed, just keep an eye on your KPIs, and key data can help you do that.
Thanks, Quinn. And then Maria.
Yeah, just wanted everyone to know that inventory is going to increase. So it's going to be a great opportunity for buyers to have a lot more choices now. And, you know, like I said, income has been great. So it's a great time to buy in our area. So come on down.
Thank you. All right. That was a great, well-rounded conversation. We'll have this recording, continue to share it for those of you that missed this stop on our Roadshow series. Come back to the community. We'll continue to post this as well, so people can come back and get this really valuable information. So Theron, Quinn, Maria, thank you so much. I look forward to the next one and hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day. Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.
Great meeting everybody. Bye-bye.